Our third scale is how you make decisions, and you're going to decide if you naturally identify as being more of a T for thinker or more of an F for feeler, knowing of course that we use both of these at different times. So if you have a natural T preference for thinking, you are all about using logic when it comes to making difficult decisions. There are no shades of gray. Things are either good or bad, right or wrong. These are people that kind of believe there are natural consequences for natural rules. These folks sometimes are not very aware of their emotions when they need to make decisions, and so sometimes they can get a bad rap for being a little tough-minded. But actually, they're incredibly invested in being fair and just. They like to analyze and think things through. So if you have a business idea and you want to run it by somebody and find out everything that can possibly go wrong, you really want to find a T because they love that stuff. They are very good at analyzing. They will tell you the truth at all times. So if you ask them, hey, what do you think of this outfit I'm wearing? If they like it, they'll tell you. And if they don't like it, they're going to tell you. So sometimes they're way more truthful than tactful. If you have more of a feeling preference, you really value personal harmony, you want people to get along, you make decisions by thinking about the impact on other people. So these are very idealistic folks. They tend to bend honesty a little bit to preserve people's feelings. They are the ultimate people pleasers. They really are tender-hearted, compassionate folks. And they want to make their decisions subjectively. How would I feel if I were in that situation? So a little graphic that I put together. The T's want to take themselves out of the situation and look at things coolly, objectively. I'm not part of this. What's the right decision? And the F's want to put themselves solidly in somebody else's shoes and say, how would I feel if that were me? Both are wonderful ways to make decisions, but they're a little bit different. So some conflicts or contrasts that can come up. The thinkers and feelers, often it's black and white versus shades of gray, business-like versus warm and friendly, logic versus harmony. Some more good TF words, firmness versus persuasion, head versus heart. And you can often see this. I'm trying to think back when I was a little kid and I used to play softball down in the park. You can see this style come up with small children. So one of the rules in softball is 3 strikes and you're out. Well, invariably, some kid would strike out and start crying. And you would instantly see the F's would say, give him another chance. We're just having fun. It's just a game. It's not that big of a deal. Let him have another go. And then all of the T's would jump in and say, but that's not fair. It's 3 strikes and you're out. And if we're going to bend the rules for him, we wouldn't bend the rules for anybody else. So both sides can make a point, but it's just a little bit different way of looking at how we make these decisions. So this comes up in the office a lot. You can see right here which of these 2 workers is the T, which is the F. The T doesn't understand why emotions are part of making a decision. The F is saying you can't separate people from emotions. You have to consider that. And oh my goodness, you will see this TF combination play out in a lot of popular culture, especially movies. So for those of you who watch Star Trek, kind of that Kirk-Spock dynamic. Kirk is all heart. He wants to go with his gut. And Spock is very, very logical. You have to think things through. And they make such a good team because we need to use both of these functions to make difficult decisions in life, even though one side is just going to feel more natural to us. You will also see this TF dynamic come up in a lot of reality TV shows, especially kind of shows that have judges. So if you think about old school American Idol, RT was absolutely Simon Cowell. You either had what it took or you got off his stage. Whereas Paula was much more of the F, give somebody a second chance. Oh, this person has a great story. So I kind of say that, if T's were running the world, it would be a very intense, competitive, you either have what it takes or you leave. And then if Fs ran the world, everybody would get a trophy. So we need a blend of both of these. I have a link to a video that describes a very, very common relationship issue that comes up between T's and F's. T's often want to fix a problem right away, and F's really want people to just focus on the feelings and being heard. And if you don't understand this about the opposite type, you're going to drive each other nuts. So an interesting test to see whether you're naturally more T or F. Let's say that you have been invited to a really fancy party with your significant other or your best friend. And your partner or your friend arrives, they're ready for the party, and they are wearing something wildly inappropriate for the event. And you think, oh no, are they really going to wear that? What do you naturally say or do in that situation? And what I've noticed is the T's will often just tell people, nope, that's not cool, you gotta change, that's not gonna be appropriate, and they don't really worry about it. The F's may or may not say something, but they have more of an internal struggle. It's more of a, how do I say this so that I don't hurt this person's feelings? I think you look great, and maybe you want to change. So when you think about the emotions that come up for you, if you were in this situation, that can give you a sense of whether T or F might be a little more comfortable for you. So when you think about that scale, you might feel like you're kind of in the middle, but type theory says that we have a natural side that's kind of our home base. So when you have to make some of the most difficult decisions in your life, do you go for thinking in your head, or do you go for feeling in your heart? And as you can guess, there is a little bit of a gender difference. There are stereotypically more males who identify as T and more females who identify as F, but that's not 100% across the board. So which one do you think fits you?